Good morning, good afternoon. My job's just to pad it out a little bit more between now and lunch, and then I'll come back and introduce our president, who will speak after lunch. But what we really wanted to do today was to start to recreate much more a connection between all of us and bring people together to share views and to let you see some of the leadership. Let us talk to you about what goes on out there, and I think we should achieve that today. Could I just say, by way of starting, there are 3 trustees. I'm one. My colleague, Brother Miles King, who you'll hear from later, Deputy Grand Master, I acknowledge. Bill Hayes is an apology. Bill, who's just turned 80, is still working hard in his own business, would you believe? And he is working today, so he sends his apologies. Could I acknowledge the Grand Master, who's here? I'll introduce later, our President, accompanied by the Grand Secretary, Bruce Cowie, Right Worshipful Brother Bruce, and our Chairman of our Board, Craig Head, who's over here. We as trustees don't actually do anything. We just sign a couple of documents here and there. It's pretty simple, and we have a board that runs the place, and Craig chairs that, and he's accompanied by Ted Turner over here and Jennifer DeBell, who I haven't seen yet, but is over there. Come in, Jennifer. Come in, Jeff. Come in and yeah. So and their job's to engage Hugh, who you've just heard from. And I was just saying to Hugh this morning, what a great job you've got. There's not a day that goes past as CEO of a aged care business when there isn't something that goes wrong, and you've got to attend to it. It's either a tap that doesn't work, or it's a resident that needs something special, or it's an employee that needs some guidance. So Prod Hugh's got that job, and anyway, you've seen him today, you've heard from him. He talks about the cottages that were built here in, well, the essence goes back to 1858, and there were 5 Freemasons who petitioned the government for some land to build essentially housing for orphans, orphans and the parents that cared for them. Well, orphans don't have parents, but those, I couldn't help but think that it's sometimes the neat day is around housing, and sometimes history repeats itself. Hugh said it was a swamp, and those of you who know Albert Park Lake will realise Albert Park Lake was built to drain the swamp just as well, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Albert Park Lake. So when you go past Albert Park Lake, you know that water came from here. I'm mindful that we're meeting on the lands of Bunurong people, the Kulin Nations, and as it is custom, pay our respects to all 4 First Nations people and to their elders, past, present and future, and especially to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders who are present today. Those 5 people who founded these homes were Freemasons. And I think in those days, excuse my words, but in society the men were either Freemasons or Catholics, and there was one or the other. So these were 5 Freemasons. They came together and saw this social need, and off they went. And look what developed out of all that. It's curious, I look at some of the history, and if anyone ever goes to Sorrento, you'll see the name George Coppin all over the place in Sorrento. He settled and developed a lot of the activities going at Sorrento. How they did all this without the internet in those days, I've got no idea, but they did. And one of the 5 was a fellow called Frank Standish. He was actually the Commissioner of Police in Victoria in 1858. And curiously, I heard he actually lived at the Melbourne Club, would you believe? And he was a bit of a character, but he was one of those 5 Freemasons that did it. So they did it as Freemasons because, as Hugh said, there was a genuine care for the community, and they came together and they formed separately. It's legally quite separate from the body of Freemasonry, but it sits there very nicely. I was talking to some of you here this morning about there's a letter G hanging from the ceiling there from that lovely light bulb right in the middle. And when you go into a lodge room, you will see the letter G hanging there. It's symbolic of the great architect of the universe, because we all believe in a supreme being. It doesn't have to be God, depending on your cultural background and who you believe your faith to. But that's the great architect of the universe, and that's the letter G up there. The other thing that's in lodge rooms are three great pillars. And these pillars denote wisdom, strength and beauty. And in my mind, they are there to show the support of a building. The buildings are supported by three great pillars. Now, I'm a great connector in life. I like to connect things. I like stable platforms. And I notice when I'm in a restaurant or something, I look at the number of legs on a table, and I liken that to an organisation. And I don't like one big leg in the middle, because you've got an organisation with one big leg in the middle, then that can be a bit unstable. I love three legs. I'll come back to that the three legs, in this case, if you've got three legs and they're all equal length, then the platform that they hold has to be level. And if you've got a level platform, then things are pretty stable. This, to me, is some of the great symbolism of the Freemasons talking. You can pick any three you like: wisdom, strength or beauty, faith, hope and charity, whatever it might be. But the organisational process here is we've got this organisation, Royal Freemasons. We've got Freemasons Victoria, which is the collective of all the 200 lodges in Victoria. And we've got the Freemasons Foundation, which had humble beginnings in benevolence, but now boasts a corpus of something like $70 million and gives away about $2 to $3 million every year to the people of Victoria. So our platform of Freemasonry in Victoria is pretty stable. I think the legs, Grand Master, are almost equal, and we hold this lovely platform that we speak from. So the purpose of today was to ask our President, our Grand Master, to talk a little bit about Freemasonry today. And as I say, we'd like you to take that back to your respective homes, to where you come from, to families, what have you. And I'd like to think we might do this again in the near future. Historically, we have had open days around the time of the grand installation, which is in March each year, March, April. And I'm hoping we might restore that next year when we have the opportunity to have a picnic or whatever.